Hello everyone, welcome to the database management course. I am week number 2. I am sharing with you in Blackboard homepage of week number 2 as indicated here on the sideline. The basic objective of this week is for you to understand some terms and concepts of database management systems. And here is a list of items in the instructional material, particularly the lesson plan and the video, which will be uploaded as soon as I'm finished with this recording. And then there are 2 assignments. One of them is the discussion board posting of a list of the database management systems or the models, and for you to begin to do the Zybook with the chapter 1. So what I want to do is to click on this link here and download and go through the items of what you need to know and what you need to do. So if you click and download this, this is what you should see. So the first item is for you to be, in terms of assignments, is to review and be aware of different database management systems. I gave you a link that you can look at. Certainly this is not the only website or resource that you could use, but it's fairly good. So I've already opened up here, and it gives you a broad and general, but very well organized list of the databases and how they fall in the categories. So this would be a good website for you to view and for you to make some summary of that. But if you prefer to use another, then feel free to do so. But as you can see, there is a multitude of systems here and databases, and they are organized in a very different way. Ours that we will be using is the relational database, and so they go into different little description and how they are organized, including the advantages and disadvantages. Even for the relational databases, there are advantages and disadvantages, and so be aware of that. Toward the end, let's see here. Here's a top popular, well, I think they give you, let's see. I skipped over here, but at the end of each section, they give you a popular database systems that are falling into each category. And so for the relational database, here are some of the popular ones that you can see. Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, and so on and so forth. Going back to the lesson plan, I'd like you to do the chapter 1 and chapter 2, only the ones that are assigned in the Zybook. So some terminologies and basic concepts, and then in chapter 2, fundamentals of the relational database model. So if you go back into the Blackboard here, and let's see if I can get over to the, when you want to, this is a discussion board response, so you can click on that and make a post. This one here is the Zybook. So when you are ready to do the assignment, click on this link. It should take you into the Zybook. Or if you prefer to browse first and see what's out there, you can log directly into Zybook and see all these items here that are at your disposal. But whatever you do, if you come directly into Zybook, then the scores will not be reflected in Blackboard. I come here only to show you what is available here for you. So here's some basic database concepts and terms, and then the systems. And for chapter 2, I'm only assigning the relational model here. We'll be looking at some other parts later, but those are the only 2. So do take a time to go through them. And as I'll just pick one here, relational model gives you a little bit of description here, and then there are some participation activities, and so do them. There are other like challenging activities. I did not assign them, so only do the ones that are assigned. Okay. That's pretty much it for this week. Let me spend a minute or two to give you some items that I think it's worth noting. So database basics, we are all concerned about data. More data you have, it tends to be better. But the problem with the data is when you collect them, it needs to represent the actual real situation or circumstance. Just because you have more data does not necessarily mean it is meaningful, right? You need to have the right data, relevant data, consistent data, um, and so then you put them into some sort of system and to databases and database roles. There are administrators, the designers, and the programmers, and the users. And so there are different users and roles that are associated with the database and management systems. So their perspectives will be different. Database systems, whatever it is, whichever system you're using or you're working with, there are some basic requirements that you need to be aware of. Namely, you want to be aware of its performance. You know, how effective is it? How efficient is it, right? You also want to be aware of authorizing. Someone needs to be setting it up, configuring who are authorized for what capacity to view or to modify and things like that. Security is huge, as we are all aware of. Security breaches. Some department needs to be monitoring, detecting, and defending aggressively to protect the welfare of your enterprise systems. There are rules that needs to be set up so that the actual function or the purpose of the data is working effectively, and not the least of it is some recovery methods and plans. If and when the system does go down, then or it is lost, what is your plan to recover them back to business operations? Another item to note is the transaction. Some database systems are more effective in terms of managing transactions rather than just recording them, such as online businesses, or such as purchasing a ticket for an airline. You know, what would happen if the two users are purchasing the same item at the same time? What are you going to do, right? That's just an example, but there are a whole bunch of other things that transactional database needs to be aware of. Query language, we typically use SQL to query and to update and things like that. So we will be talking about SQL in the future. Tables is just one way of organizing your data in terms of columns and rows, especially for the relational database such as SQL Server. We will be talking about more in detail of the entity relational diagrams, of how to not only use them, but to use it to design a database. There is a concept of logical design, and then it needs to be translated into some physical design, because that's what we're actually going to be using. MySQL is used in this in Zybook as opposed to MySQL or SQL Server, I should say. So if you're familiar with other ones, then there may be a little bit of adjustment that's required. But as long as it is a relational database, I think the basic concepts and the operations are pretty much similar. So that's pretty much it for this week. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Otherwise, look forward to receiving your work, and take care. Bye-bye.